Kevin Spacey, thank you so much for joining us on BBC Breakfast.
Me.
Baby Driver, that was fun. It looked like fun to make, because it certainly was fun to watch.
Edgar Wright is just a remarkable force. And even from the very beginning, when you get the script and with it comes a CD of all the tracks. So you get a sense from the very beginning when you read it of the tone and the pace and the energy and how music will, in many ways, drive this particular story.
There he is.
Hey, baby.
Why is he listening to music all the time?
He had an accident when he was a kid. He still got a hum in the drum. Plays music to drown it out.
That's what makes him the best.
So there is a soundtrack almost throughout it all. Was it cleverly edited so that all your hand movements went with the music?
No.
How did that work?
Essentially, in addition to getting that CD when you first read it, then that extends to when you come to the set and you're in certain scenes. Edgar wants you to physically be moving to the rhythm of the music. So you have an earwig, they're counting down when the music's going to start, and then you know at a certain point the dialogue will begin, so the music will then go off. But literally there are scenes where I am moving physically to the rhythm of the song that's going to play in that scene.
How did you not just break into dance?
Yeah, I did a couple of times, and Edgar was like, "Stop shaking your shoulders." I was like, "Sorry, it's just too cool."
You are my lucky charm, and I'm not doing this job without you. Your waitress girlfriend, she's cute. Let's keep it that way.
You play a pretty nefarious character, I think it's fair to say.
I've made a sort of a history of playing certain characters like that.
Do you fall easily into that character now?
They're always different. I mean, you know, they always ask a sort of different side of you, and I looked at this as this was the Michael Caine role, so I was just sort of trying to be Michael Caine-like without doing Michael Caine's accent, which I could have done.
In the AM, questions.
I got a question, Doc. Why'd I believe phones over here heard the goddamn word you said? He ain't even listening.
Baby?
The target is an armored truck at Perimeter Trust in Dunwoody, 10 a.m. sharp. The switch car is ready, but you want me to hit the long stay parking structure and get a heist vehicle that stays colder longer? It needs to be ready for an 8:30 start. Questions?
You work with some younger actors and some very established actors. How do you pitch yourself when you rock up into a room? I am Kevin Spacey.
If anything got passed down to me from the great Jack Lemmon, who was my mentor, and I had the great opportunity to work with a number of times, was that when you are playing a leading role, it is also a leadership role, and that you have an opportunity in every situation, whether it's a play or a television series or a film, to lead a company. And I think that I'm a company man, so I always believe that you have to come onto a set and be open and available and try to be a part of creating an environment where people want to do their best work and feel comfortable to do their best work. And so you have to leave status, ego, all of that stuff at the door, because it doesn't, A, get you anywhere. And when I've seen examples of people who, you know, mistreat others on a set, or I call them out on it. I'm a big believer in confrontation, because I also think that bullies are not used to being confronted. So when you actually walk up to someone and say, what is going on? What is wrong with you today? And they're like, what are you talking about? And you go, you just yelled at that stand-in, or you just treated your makeup artist in a really terrible way. What's the problem? Because I didn't come to work today to be in this kind of environment. I came to work today to have a good time. So you either have to figure out what's going on with you, or I'm going to go home.
Is that one of your philosophies in life?
Yeah.
Just be one of the good guys?
Yeah.
The American people don't know what's best for them. I do. I know exactly what they need.
Politically, how much influence has external politics had on House of Cards? Because
None.
Trump's presidency...
It's had absolutely no influence on us.
At the end of House of Cards, the last series, I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Season 5.
Season
the one that
5,
just came out,
season
yeah.
5, the one that's just come out. There is a twist, shall we say. There was an expectation of the US elections that didn't transpire. And it almost seemed that the House of Cards writers thought that might transpire, and that's what was reflected.
Well, I can only tell you this. We start writing our show, and we do what we call our Bible on our show a year before we start shooting. So the decisions about where we wanted the show to go were made I would say the final decisions were made probably by about July of last year. What has happened that's always been interesting, in fact every season, is that we figure out what we want to do, we figure out our characters we want to introduce, the plot lines we want to go down, all this stuff, and then we write it, and then we shoot it. And then sometime between when we've shot it and when it drops, 4 or 5 things that we have explored kind of happen in the real world. And we go, everyone's going to think that we ripped this from the headlines, but in fact it was the other way around. We did it and then it happened.
You've also spent a lot of time in London. We're very mindful at the moment of the events in the UK and the feeling of community that seems to have been heartened by the attacks on London. Do you feel there's a change in the way Londoners are or the UK is as you spend time here?
Look, I was in America when a lot of these events happened, and what was disheartening was to see how a lot of this was being referred to as London under attack and London under siege, and that is just absolutely not true. London is not under siege. These are isolated incidents by a number of cowards. I'm not even sure they deserve to be called terrorists. There's nothing particularly clever about what they're doing. And I think that we should just pay less attention to who they are and what they're about, and more attention to the people who do these remarkable acts of kindness.
Here in London, we are enjoying a few days of summer. We're going to enjoy them as much as we can.
I believe it's called record highs.
I think so. We'll ask Carol about that. But the sun is shining. It's almost the perfect day. What's your perfect day in the sun?
Bikes. First of all, I'm a big bike rider. I love bikes. Dogs. Definitely taking the dog to the park. A little bit of cider.
English cider?
English cider, and without question.